My name is Shina Loremikan. I'm a citizen of Nigeria. For reasons best known to me, I chose to be a civil society activist, and I've been carrying that label as far back as mid-80s.
Okay, let's commence by asking you, how do you think activism in Nigeria has, progressed all this while? Lately, we find that what we have these days is not even activists, but cashtivists. What we like to term as cashtivists. Do you think that with such kind of activism today, that there's much change that Nigeria can go further into?
Yeah, when I was an undergraduate in the University of Ilorin, I don't know who pasted this poster around the campus, but it's a statement credited to Karl Marx, and it says, "Philosophers has interpreted the world. It is for us to change it." My mom mother will say, "Shina, the sample is on your right and is on your left. Whichever one you like, you should go with it." It may interest you that activism is not new in Nigeria. And one of those reference points I make is the Aba women. They had a revolt almost about 80 years ago. Nobody took it to be a serious issue, but to the glory of God, they got organized and they painted the country under colonial rule red. We graduated from there and came to people like Margaret Ekpo. From Margaret Ekpo, we had people like Funmilayo Razon-Kuti. If you know what it is in Yoruba land, how we give courtesy to kings, they are second to God in Yoruba land. When the Alake of Egba land was running foul to public wishes, Funmilayo Razon-Kuti organized against him and he flew. He left the palace. He did not leave the palace alone. He left Egba land. He did not leave Egba land alone. He went miles away. So we have the precedents. And this same Razon-Kuti went into politics. When everybody was hiring winning parties, she was in the opposition. She used her own money to go to the national conference they organized in London that gave us our flag independence of 1960. So the choice is ours. Some people went to the National Assembly or the National Conference in Nigeria. They went there to please themselves. Some went there to sign documents that they cannot openly support. People like Razon-Kuti went for documents they can speak about. I also want to say this. God so blessed the Razon-Kuti family that the husband of Funmilayo was the one who started the NUT, called Nigerian Union of Teachers. So if today we now have internet, we have passed the age of fax machine, and people say they are activists and they don't want to have impact on the society, it's a matter of choice for them. This is our finest hour. No youth anywhere in the world inherited documents that stretches fundamental and civil rights like ours. Today, people are celebrating the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Some people died for it. Some people blood watered that document. So if today we want to sell our birthright, there is nothing we can do. But this is our finest hour to say no to injustice, no to exploitation. This is our finest hour to mobilize and ensure that poverty is drastically reduced.
Speaking about finest hour to say no to injustice and impunity and all of that, just recently we have Nigerians turned up on the streets to protest against the brutality by Special Anti-Robbery Squad units of the police force. And sadly, unfortunately, of course, we find that SARS, as the unit, actually did rent a number of youths and, of course, women and children, of course, to sort of like do a campaign supporting SARS, you know. So there's a conflict, like, the question is it that Nigerians, is it that the poverty in Nigeria has caused some of us to sort of support injustice? Because SARS oppresses Nigerians, and yet we find people supporting, who say hashtag support SARS, while some other people are saying end SARS. Is the poverty part of the reason why people would openly support injustice?
Yeah, I want to say, with all due respect, that there is nothing new in what we are seeing recently. When slavery was going on in Nigeria, some Nigerians supported slavery. Some Nigerians protested against slavery. When colonialism was in Nigeria, some Nigerians supported colonialism. Some said no. When late Anthony Nauru moved the motion for self-independence, now some people in the parliament said no, we don't want independence now, it should be delayed. If we move around town, I don't see any bra house community that I've gone that I have not seen notice. This house is for sale. If you go to Apapa GRA, you find it there. If you go to Ikeja GRA, you find it there. If you go to Mushin, you find it there. If you go to Ajegunle, you find it there. This house is for sale. Why are people selling properties? They are selling because the income they have cannot meet their daily needs. So they want to sell the legacy or the assets they have to make more money and to go and enjoy themselves. So what do you expect from somebody whose salary has not been paid for 6 months? Somebody whose pension has not been paid for 9 months? Somebody who law enforcement agencies have locked up his store for not paying lock-up store charges? Somebody whose enterprise has been sealed up because he has not paid tax? And then he now sees somebody who approach him and say, just come and do a rally for 45 minutes, I'll give you 1,500. You think he will ask you, what is the rally about? Even if his brother is in police custody, he will first collect the money, get to the rally front, to then find out that, oh, the protest is in favor of police that have oppressed a member of his family. That's the state of the poverty. I know elites who wants to travel for summer that does not have the money for tickets and begging and debasing himself. Elite. He wants to go to summer. I know people who already have bought a pail of rice and storing it. We call it in Yoruba, Ike. It's like 2 to 2.5 liters of dry rice. The man bought it and told the wife, keep it, oh, this for Christmas. So before Christmas come, what would they eat? We are not talking of half a bag of rice. We are not talking of 10 kg. We are talking of 2.5 kg. And the man has children who are over 18 years. I have seen where parents remind their daughter, are you not going out today? Going out to where? Going out to do prostitute. Reminding her, it's getting to 6, 7. You need to go and dress up. If you don't go out tonight and meet another man for money, we are not going to eat tomorrow morning. Even what we are going to eat tonight, we don't know. So use what you have to take care of your family. That is what we have today. There was a day my vehicle broke down very close to Eko Hospital. So I moved into the GRA axis. I then called my family to come and rescue me. They came. This story is over 10 years old. They came to rescue me. While they were towing my vehicle, we drove along this popular Isaac John. Midway, I saw some ladies, different ages, different shapes, different colors, and I did not know when I matched the brake forcefully. The car jacked. Later, I released the brake, and I saw the ladies, they were lying up. By the time I got home, my wife said, Shina, what happened that you suddenly pressed the brake? I said, I was looking at those ladies and that I was wondering. So business like this takes place in Ikeja GRA, where there is a Lagos State government house. So it's terrible that it's not good to be walking at night. If I've not had a breakdown, I would not have witnessed that. I will have driven along Mobolaji Bankantoni on 60 km per hour, not knowing what is behind Mobolaji Bankantoni. And I'm telling you, many of those happen. In some of the communities today, if you want to make money, I am not suggesting to people who are keen about money, but if you want to make cool money, money better than I'm selling rice, I'm selling lace, I'm running boutique, go and start hotel. Please don't do full lodging. Do what we call short time. You see people queuing, and sometimes you tell them rooms are not available. Will you wait? You see all sorts of persons patronizing them, either in the morning, afternoon, or night. If you run a full-time hotel and you are waiting for 24 hours lodging or full lodging, you can't break even. And sometimes this hotel is between 1,500, 2,500. Hardly will you get anyone for 1 hour for 5,000 naira. Yes, you smile to the bank every day.
If we continue to look at these problems, then it would defeat the very essence of activism. It would defeat the very essence of civic engagement, because the truth is that we'll always continue to have problems in Nigeria. So let's go back to the SARS story. Nigerians, like I did say before, are protesting against the brutality of SARS officers in the Nigerian police force. And I want to ask you, do you think that this fight, do you think that this struggle is long overdue?
You see, to us, the struggle is a continuous process. It has no end. And it was Fela who said, Aluta must be suspended. No, Aluta cannot be suspended. It's a continuous thing. For the police, what we need is to rebrand the police. Give the police a new vision and a mission to respect citizens' rights, to promote and encourage citizens' rights at all times. Before you can be a member of SARS, you must first and foremost be a member of the Nigerian police force. It is not a special recruitment. No, they deploy you. They can take you away from SARS and take you to traffic section. They can take you away from SARS and take you to VIP protection. But the reality of it is that the training, the brand, the training, the concept of policing is like violate your people, oppress your people, intimidate your people. Is it SARS that provide security for public officers? It is not SARS. You can't move close to an elected governor. They will clear you. Sometimes on the highway, they drive and chase you out of the road. So, about 2 weeks ago, I was on the Lagos-Ibadan Express. One black Jeep. We don't even know the owner. He was driving. They shot into the air. Pa, pa. I have been to Ghana. I have never seen it. I have never seen Ghanaian police exhibiting such conduct. I have never seen it. I have driven past Osu Court, Osu Castle, that is their own Aso Rock in Ghana. You won't, if you are not literate, you won't know you have driven past where Nkrumah lived, where Rawlings lived, where Ghanaian presidents are living. You won't know. Please, go to Alausa today. A Berlin Wall is being erected there. Conscious effort to make sure that citizens don't picket. Conscious effort to make sure that citizens don't demonstrate. Lord Denny, one of the celebrated judges in England, said picketing and demonstration is a fundamental human right. housewives can decide that they are going to meet government to tell them their experience about domestic gas. It is their choice. Husbands can decide to go and approach government to let them know the burdens they go through running generators in their homes. If they like, say, bring the tank of your generator, let's go and show the government that this is what we use our money to buy every evening because there is irregular public power supply. It's a matter of choice. Why are you barricading the place? The governor doesn't want to see people. The last time women mobilized, women in the civil society went to the governor's office on World Women's Day, they were chased away with tear gas. In Nigeria, Charlie Boy was expressing himself. They threw dogs on him. If armed robbers is attacking us at home, the police will forget that they have dog section. When they are looking for kidnappers, they will have forgotten they have dog sections. But when Charlie Boy was protesting, they remembered they had police dog and then they released him on him. At the same time, we have marine police. The marine police are in Lagos. Until recently, almost moribund. But when kidnappers were using waterfront to carry those students in secondary school, where was the marine police? It may also interest you, this Nigeria we have. Sometimes, thank God, I don't have high blood pressure.
We all come from different backgrounds. That's what unites us. We all know life is about freedom of choice, and money transfer should be the same way. Introducing MoneyGram My Way. Send and receive money just about anywhere, using whatever method that works best for you.
Pressure, like Chief Gani. But sometimes I wonder that what is happening. I heard in the news yesterday that the principal of the school in Chubo, or where in Borno State, where they kidnapped those guys, that we are still looking for hundreds of them, that the principal was appointed and sworn in as commissioner. I said, so you reward inefficiency? America went to invaded some countries because 3 or 5 of their citizens' safety was in question. We are still looking for over 100 guests. The principal of that school was being made a commissioner, and she also accepted it. We should know how to say no to injustice. We should not pretend that poverty will drag us to take anything. Poverty should not be a concept of anything goes. At the end of the day, like it happens to one of the richest men we have in Nigeria, the father of Emeka Ojukwu, Louis Ojukwu, how rich he was when he died, he could not go with any of his property. Chief Ebenezer Obey eulogized a Nigerian, I think he's an Ijesha man. They call him Fajemiroku. He eulogized him and said, Fajemiroku, death cannot kill you. Sickness cannot take you away. Now lie. Fajemiroku died in the toilet in Ivory Coast. After his death, he could not take anything away. So under the pretense that mama dey for house, papa dey for house, I no wan die, I wan make money, na money, ego, kudi, na lie. Sometimes it amazes me, and I ask myself, was MKO Abiola childless? I used to be hearing Kola many years. I used to hear Deji many years, and many others. With the riches of their father, where are they? Where is Concord Hairline? Where is Concord newspaper? Where is Wonder Loaf bread? Where is Berek battery? To mention but a few. That is the reality. So if we face the reality to know that we are in this world to live here temporarily, one day our life will be called by the person who gave us. Let us use the resources to the best benefit of everyone, not to yourself. I feel so sad when I drive around the city of Lagos and I see all sorts of cars that Nigerian engineers have never produced. I've seen Lamborghini, I've seen Cadillac, I've seen Rolls Royce, I've seen Dimlac, I've seen G-Wagon. In fact, they are so abusive that they put them on auction on major streets in Lagos. We are so crazy that we want to buy state-of-the-art car, and the little thing that our children use in school, including pencil, eraser, sharpener, we can't produce it. It does not stop there. It's so bad for us that even water, multinational corporations are producing table water for us to drink. And Nestle, Coca-Cola, they are into water production. We are so gullible that our farmers, they produce cucumber, they produce watermelon, they produce tomato. They will sell all those things, as nutritious as they are. They will go and buy 7-Up, Sprite, Coke. If you visit an average family in Nigeria, they say, welcome. Children, give your uncle Coke. Our kunu is not in our diet. Our sobo is not in our diet. Yet, we all use scarce resources to go and buy Coke, Fanta, Sprite to entertain ourselves.
Sir, the police has raised concerns that they are under, they're not well taken care of by the Nigerian government. Their salaries and stipends don't arrive on time, and of course are very little, and so that sometimes when they get involved in some of these activities is to extort money to take care of themselves and the family. Do you think this is the right cause for torture and extortion of Nigerian citizens?
No, no. They signed a contract with the Nigerian police service. If they find out that they have been shortchanged, they have a right to resign. That stationaries are not provided, service vehicles are not provided, it's not an excuse to extort Nigerians. About 10 years ago, I can recall very well that those were the first 1 or 2 years of Olusegun Obasanjo as the president of Nigeria. I did a study with some persons funded by the World Bank. We were looking at the corrupt institutions in Nigeria. The first 3 was police, custom, and NEPA, as it was then. It is not enough to say because your welfare is not well packaged, you should be extorting. Many of those they are extorting are not better than the police. Because we are talking of personal liberty. Some people sell personal effects when their relation is in police custody. And we have had situations where people died in police custody. In fact, I asked myself, there is a case I'm handling now. One of the local government chairmen effected the arrest of 2 citizens, and they took them to one of the police stations in Lagos. I will not mention the police station. These citizens were asked to remove their shirts, their trousers. They ended up with boxer to be kept in police custody. I keep asking myself, which law says you should be half naked if you are to be detained? Which law? I've been talking to all my friends. I have many friends that are senior advocates. I have some that just left law school 1 year ago. I call them baby lawyer. Say, please, senior lawyer, which law says you should half-naked citizens because you want to keep them in police custody. And junior baby lawyer, maybe there is a new thing that they have just in criminology. Yeah. Please, can we know? You are just debasing our people. You are just dehumanizing our people. Even in prison, you have a uniform. The uniform is not half. It's not, you have a uniform. In prison, you are entitled to blankets. In prison, you are entitled to a bed space. In prison, you are entitled to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In prison, you are entitled to medical facility. They may be poor, they may not be regular. In police station, you are not entitled to a mat. You are not entitled to a blanket. And we are saying, if you detain, please, if the person has a case to answer, take him to court in 24 hours. You are keeping the person there 3 days. One of the instances, there was argument that the boy kept in police custody in Lagos is 16 years old. The detaining authority said, no, he's 20 years old. I said, what's the difference? Even if it is 21 years old, why are you keeping him in police custody for 3 days? Why? So the reality of it is that I am a friend of the police. Some of my relations retired in the police service. I have classmates who are senior police officers. The answers to the problem facing the police is not dismantling any SARS or police. But if I want to trivialize it, if we all agree that Nitel has failed and we privatize Nitel, and now we have Glo, we have MTN to mention but a few, good. If we claim that Nigeria Airways have failed and we privatize Nigeria Airways, we now have Bellevue, Okada, and First Atlantic, or whatever they make be good. Okay, if we say that NEPA has failed and we have privatized NEPA and now they are now disco. Okay, let us agree the Nigerian police has failed. We should privatize the Nigerian police so that those who have money will go and buy them and they will become private security. Governance is a serious business. Honestly speaking, I have forgotten about Europe and America. I have forgotten them. My reference point is Africa. If you go to Ghana, you will be impressed with the Ghanaian police. If you go to Cotonou here, you will know that they respect police. If you go to Togo, no policeman will raise hand for you. Like they say, stop. It's ordinary whistle. When you see a Togolese police kitted, you won't be told to slow down. In Nigeria, anything goes. I have seen where police is being kidnapped. About 2 months ago in Kaduna, DPO was kidnapped. It can show you the level of the failed state we have, that a whole DPO can be kidnapped. I don't expect a DPO to be moving along. I don't expect it. I don't expect a DPO not to have a service pistol. So it's terrible. And then when you go to embassies, when you go to banks, you see policemen deployed there. Many of them lobby for those appointments. They call it lucrative posting. Yesterday, I drove past the customs, the custom college, and I was asking myself that with my busybody, I have not had in the last 2 years that the custom have new recruits. Are people not leaving custom service every year? If some are leaving, new recruits should come to replace them. Are we not thinking of the future? So most time when you look at the police, you see men with very big tummy. That is what we are grooming. If you go to some police stations outside this country, honestly speaking, if they detain you and they ask you to go, you will say, let me pass one night. It makes me to remember late Komi Oshobu, one of the fellow Anikulaku lawyers. He said detention no be charity. If you visit Nigerian police station, honestly speaking, if they ask you to go and sell your mother to regain your liberty this hour, you will not hesitate. And we are saying it's not supposed to be like that. In some countries, they looked at the problem they are facing in the police. And the solution they had was this. As a police officer, you'll be entitled to an official accommodation. If you don't have bad records and you are retiring, you pay mortgage, that house becomes your home. If you are indicted of any wrongdoings, your appointment as a police officer will be terminated. The mortgage you have contributed, you will forfeit it to your wife. So that property becomes the property of your wife, not you and your wife. So it depends on your wife. If he wants to accommodate you, you will still have a bed space. Otherwise, she is entitled to that accommodation. No man wants to leave that arrangement. So policemen in those countries are upright. That look, this is my future. Accommodation is my future. Mortgage must not be compromised. So when you give him tip, you say, sorry, I am committed to this. I want to ask, how many officers are we housing in Nigeria? Whether police, Air Force, Navy, Custom, Immigration, how many are we housing? And you want them to be patriotic? You want them to say it's service, service, service?
The Inspector General of Police, did say during as this campaign to end SARS, began in the times when it started, the Inspector General of Police did say that the police would be planning to reorganize and reform the entire force. And he didn't actually, even though he did mention some areas where reforms will take, but Nigerians don't seem to agree with him. But now let's go to you. Do you think that the police needs reorganization? Do you think that this present leadership, the current leadership of the police, can bring about the necessary reforms needed in the police? And if yes, what are some of the reforms that you would like to see happen in the police force?
Okay. As students of society, we want productivity to be increasing. We want better services, more value for our money. The police have to be reorganized. To get a better input in the reorganization, we need to make it open, participatory. If possible, the police should set up a website where citizens can suggest what is to be done. From that feedback, they can then harmonize and see how best to put the Nigerian police. We have Nigerians who are serving in police services in other countries. They can also be part of it to tell us that, look, this is the way it is being done. And interestingly, this same police we are all condemning based on what we have seen. When they go for international assignments, they are rated well. They are one of the best when they go for international assignments. I can recall that I can recall in my own family, they have the police officers in my family. They left service in the 70s. They were mostly trained abroad. They will take group photographs. They go for police training abroad. All those things, we need to look into it. There was a time at Obalende Police Barracks. They have a section there where they do tailoring. The police have a tailoring section. The police have laboratories. The police have dog section. The police have veterinary department, marine, airport, railway, and they were professional. The police need to be professional. We need to raise their standards. We cannot relegate them to the background. I even don't mind. If you want to be a police officer, apply. If you want to be Inspector General of Police, apply. Not this one where 36 airgates that we call the governors and the Police Service Commission look around and say, you are next, and then retire people ahead of you. Let us apply. In some countries, even the office of the judges or chief justice are advertised. In some countries, the office of the vice chancellor is advertised. If you are interested, apply. Give us your profile. Give us your dream of the new institution you are going to build up. And then we analyze it. Not this man, no man. I am telling you with all due respect. I know situations where people get lucrative appointment in this country, that it is their wife that lobbies for them, or the wife of the C that provide the employment for them. So it's man, no man. So if you know the heart of the king, you can easily get whatever you want. So those persons use their wife, their girlfriends, to lobby for lucrative political appointments. And you know the sort of Senate we have. Anything goes. Somebody alleged very recently that even to move motion in the Senate, you must facilitate it. The facilitation is fund, is cash. It's not good talk. And that's why many of our senators, you just see them sitting there. To move motion, it's not easy. If you are not in the caucus, if you move motion, nobody will second it. If they second it, they will shun you. Merit does not apply there. I also have friends there, and we meet and we talk. And they tell you. In fact, it's so sad too. I can assure, it's sad that I don't think it is easy to just write a petition to EFCC and to consider it to be considered. It's not like that. You must lobby. The lobby goes beyond saying good morning, sir. I'm the one who wrote the petition. It goes beyond that. If you are not careful, whereas EFCC have offices regionally, they will ask you to come to Abuja to come and defend your petition. So if you don't have the means of transportation, you are cut off. Many things goes on in this country that we think it's fiction, and I'm telling you it's real. It's so bad that if you want service bets, if you don't Roger, you may not get it. If you want service berets, if you don't Roger, you may not get it. There was a time, I don't know the practice now, but there was a time, if a woman police want to marry, she must get the consent of the commissioner of police. If you don't get the consent of the commissioner of police, you can't marry. I don't know whether that has changed, but there was a time, that was it. So we need to open up. The police need to let us know the constraints they are facing, that is delaying promotion, that is not making welfare policies to be implemented transparently. It is when we know those obstacles that we, as civil society, can join hands to say, this is the reform, this is the changes, this is the policies, and then we all have a better police where you don't need to know the AIG before you are promoted. You don't need to know the DCP before you are assigned a beat. You don't need to spend all your life in a single police station. It is when we know that we can really assist. Otherwise, there is no amount. If the whole budget of Nigeria is given to the police, if we don't reorganize, if there is no clear vision, mission, and goal accomplishment, it will be the same story.
We all come from different backgrounds. That's what unites us. We all know life is about freedom of choice, and money transfer should be the same way. Introducing MoneyGram My Way. Send and receive money just about anywhere, using whatever method that works best for you.